Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos speaking to you from our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama, one of the great towns in America. If you're watching on Facebook this morning as we start our show Today in LA. And for you folks that are out there saying, where is LA? This Los Angeles? No, this is Lower Alabama. Welcome to Lower Alabama. Beautiful day in Troy and South Alabama, and we got a good show for you. Coach Max Howell, one of the top football analysts in the country, will be our guest at the 7:30 hour. Of course, if you live in Troy, don't forget to sign up for the Troy Messenger. The Messenger is one of the largest and the oldest, one of the oldest daily papers in America, and we pick it up every morning. And of course, a lot of things going on. Big weekend ahead at Charles Henderson High School of Troy, go up against Pike County High School of Brundage. Stevie, when you get a chance, come put those helmets up here. We'll put the Charles Henderson Brundage helmet up here to remind all of you that big jamboree is this weekend at Bulldog Stadium in Brundage at 7 o'clock kickoff. Should be a good one. Both teams are expected to be strong, and I tell you, Coach Brad McCoy spoke to the Troy Rotary Club yesterday and did a super job, and I tell you what, he ended up with a bunch of winners there, I promise you. I want to say good morning to Mike Kilcrease at Trojan Auto Parts. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't find a cleaner, nicer auto parts store anywhere than Trojan Auto Parts on South Brundage Street here in Troy. And Dulce, ladies and gentlemen, a New York bakery in downtown Troy. And boy, that is delicious. And also our good friends at Country Financial. Call her today at 465. Well, I'll have to get it again. Of course, how about Rumors on the Square in downtown Troy? They're from a group of people from Ozark that started that business. And my good friends at All Star Collision, my good friends there, and of course they are professional. They do a super job. I want to say hello to the folks at Max Federal Credit Union on the bypass right here in Troy, and a brand new credit union right here in Troy. Of course, Max Federal, one of the largest credit unions in the state of Alabama, and we appreciate them so very much. Of course, the Matthews Law Firm located in Ozark, Alabama, and our good friends at First Cahaba Bank, soon to be opening on on the corner of Johnny Withington and Publix Drive right here in Troy. And of course, the Messenger, we're looking at it right here. And of course, the also want to mention a few things going on here in our neck of the woods, and want to turn our pages over here to the sports page. And Branson takes over. Doug Branson takes over as the head basketball coach at Charles Henderson High School. There will be a new head coach patrolling the Charles Henderson sideline this upcoming basketball season. Reading Mike Hensley's article this morning, Doug Branson, well known, will be taking over the head coaching job. Tuck, of course, for Shelby Tuck. Shelby's going into the administrative part of the school, and outstanding individual, did a great job, and everybody appreciates what he did for Charles Henderson. Tuck took over for Carl Hollis in advance of 2016-2017 season. Now it's Branson's turn to coach the sport he loves, and of course he coached at Pike County High School of Brundage, and we'll get into that in a few moments. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Where are you calling from, sir?
Beham, Alabama.
Beham. Wait a minute. I don't know where Beham is. I know where Birmingham is. Where's Beham?
I'm too lazy when I have to write Birmingham. I always just write Beham.
Yeah, I got you. Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham today. Is it rainy up there? Boy, we got rain yesterday here.
Man, we haven't been getting a whole lot of rain. I mean, we got a few little showers here and there, but the sun was out all day yesterday.
Yeah, I tell you what, no question about it. Mike, I was looking at the messenger this morning. Chad Copeland, he had 14 tackles in last week's game against Morgan, and boy, that was one of the better played games I've seen. And let me just say this, Max, if you're watching our show this morning, you need to keep this photo, this picture of you making these tackles you need to get you some extra copies of this one in the messenger. Whoever, of course, I think Mike of the messenger did this, but isn't that a good shot of a guy making a tackle? This is Chad Copeland. Well, Max Copeland, the fine linebacker.
Copeland is Chad Copeland's son.
That's right, and he is one good linebacker, Mike. He made some big plays in that game.
His uncle Ty Copeland, good linebacker, too.
You know, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I forgot about Todd, and of course, Max is an outstanding linebacker, and of course, his dad Chad is one of the county commissioners here, and of course, his granddad. Is one of the big wheels with here Troy Cable, and hey, he paid me to talk about his son this morning. No, I tell you, Max Copeland is announced had 15 total tackles in the game. Patriots won 20-14. We're going to try our best to have Coach Coach on our show tomorrow, and yeah, we're gonna show some footage of the
having all the coaches downtown one day this week or something for that brown bag.
Yeah, and that goes on today at noon. So a lot of the coaches, including Coach Brown, is going to be down there, Mike. I think it's a great deal that the city's doing there, and I don't know if it's free food or not, but we're gonna have Coach Gene Allen on our phone and hopefully on our show and show some of the highlights of last week's big win over Morgan. It was a game that counted. I had so many people to tell me that it wasn't going to count in regular record books, but I kept telling them that it was going to count and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, if you see diamonds on my hand, they are, and this is what you get if you had ordered your tickets early to Troy University football.
Those are fake diamonds. They're called diamond L's.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But, you know, this is what everybody gets. This ring, and I am surprised by it, it's a size 11, which is the same size that I wear. And when I picked up my ring, I was delighted to find out that I could actually wear it. And when Troy plays, I'm going to wear this ring. This is the same.
So as far as a knockoff ring, it's like pretty nice.
Yes, it's real nice. Did you see it? You didn't see it?
I mean, it's not like one of your conference championship rings.
Well, it's very similar. Very similar to what I've got already. And, you know, of course, Troy's conference ring is a little bit different than this, but it's got a red T on it instead of a white T. But you folks that ordered your tickets early and you're supposed to get a ring, go by the ticket office at Troy University today, and I believe she'll have you some of those rings ready for you to pick
up. You
up.
to the jewelry store and get your name Amos put on there somewhere, probably, could you?
I could if I wanted to, but this right here says 2017 Sun Belt Champs, 11-2 record, and let's see what they got over here. I better be able to get it off, yeah. It says over here on the other side, 2017 Carriers New Orleans Bowl champions. So it recognizes the Sun Belt Conference championship and the Bowl championship with the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl from that we had so much fun at.
Yeah, I wish I could have made that trip.
Yeah.
I tell you what, y'all made a lot of trips last year that I wish I could have gone on. LSU, Baton Rouge, and then the New Orleans Bowl. Those are two fun trips right there.
Well, you're too busy raising a family. You have to do that first. You do the responsible thing. You know, I am going to the Nebraska game, and I actually might go to. We have a stop, I think, in St. Louis, and we might go to the baseball game. Wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
I told you could do that yesterday. You could go watch the Cardinals and the Dodgers play.
Wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
No, it'd be fun. What about the University of South Alabama football stadium they're planning to build? The city council voted against it.
Oh, no.
In Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, no. There's going to be a war. There's going to be a war.
Isn't that horrible? The city wouldn't back a new stadium. I mean, anybody that's been to Lad Stadium.
And do you know?
Game a couple of years ago. I mean, that is a dump of dumps. I mean,
it's in a terrible location too. It's in a bad location. You know, for them to do this is not good for South Alabama. If they built a stadium on their campus, Mike, believe you me, that campus would explode. I mean, I'm talking about will grow like you would not believe. It could be like Alabama and Auburn and Troy one day. If they had
the crazy thing about it is they're only wanting to build 25,000 seats. It's not like it's a huge
stadium. I know it. Well, I'm sure the city's got money in that. You know, they own Ladd Peoples Stadium, and that's the home of the Senior Bowl every year, and it also is the home of a lot of high school games, which is fine and dandy. But, you know, for them, you actually said they voted it down.
That's right.
Does that mean they can't build it, or what?
Well, basically, it doesn't look like the city's going to support it. So, you know, I mean, South Alabama's got a lot of money, and they probably got a lot of boosters that have a lot of money. So maybe the money will come somewhere else.
Well, I think there'll be enough boosters that are upset by this to make sure that they get it now. So, we'll keep up with that story, I promise you, because could you see that happening in Troy? Troy wanting to build a new stadium on campus, and the city council voted down?
I don't see it happening in a small town like Troy, but, you know, Mobile's a little bit different, I guess.
Well, just think of the tax base.
Just think of Troy, Alabama without Troy University. I mean, you wouldn't imagine the difference in living and what the city has to offer without a university being there. Well,
you're right. You have a lot. You're exactly right. Mike, I'm going to make a phone call, drop off for about 5 minutes. I'm going to try to get Gene Allen on and come right back with me, if you will.
All right.
You want me to put you on hold? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to get up with Gene Allen.
The number you have entered has...
who is the head football coach at Pike Liberal Arts School. And, of course, I know he's...
The number you have entered has...
Well. Let's see what it'll do. It's an out-of-town number. Let's see. All right, I've messed up already. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance.
A personal touch. A high level of trust, whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Oh, back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, on already on a Wednesday as we get ready for high school football. Some of the teams will actually start their season this weekend, but at the same time, a lot of like Charles Henderson, their regular season starts on the 31st of August when they travel to the Enterprise to play the Enterprise Wildcat. And as I mentioned earlier, Coach Brad McCoy spoke to the Rotary Club yesterday and did a great job. And when he was talking about his schedule, man, I don't know if there's a team anywhere that has a tougher schedule than he does. And, but the key is winning area games. And if he can just win his area games, he's going to be all right. Of course, Auburn's getting ready. They've got one week from Saturday. They'll be playing Washington in Atlanta. That's going to be a late game, 7:30 game. And then Alabama will be playing Louisville, and that game will be played in Orlando, and that will be a 2 o'clock game. Troy plays at 5 o'clock, so in between. So I tell you, if you want to see some good football, you just put your head out to Troy and see the game, and watch the game on television. And then when Troy comes on, you be in the stadium for it, and then you come out of the stadium and start watching the Auburn game. So there's no question about it that you'll be able to watch college football as long as you want to on Saturday, or you can tape those games and watch them when you get home. It's going to be a lot of fun, a great weekend. That's a week from Saturday. Of course, first college game of the year is this Saturday in Montgomery, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Those hated Gamecocks, ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about a lot on this show, big rival for such a long time. They'll be playing North Carolina A&T. And that game will be played in Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff from Crampton Bowl, Jacksonville State. I'm thinking it's 7 o'clock. It might be 6 o'clock. I'll check that. And because it will be televised on ESPN. It's the first game of the year. And Johnny Williams, the former Troy athletic director and football coach, and the director of the Camellia Bowl, is also over this game, this early season game between two 1AA teams, Jacksonville State of Jacksonville, Alabama, and North Carolina A&T. I want to mention a few other things. Auburn is looking for another running back to fit into their backfield, and I'm sure they've got plenty of prospects. Alabama is loaded with offensive talent, running back talent, and Troy, I was looking at them, and they've just added a couple of new running backs, and hopefully they're going to be in good shape. But it's very important to have good running backs, and I don't know if Auburn will have to go too deep into their cupboard of athletes to come up with them a outstanding running back. They've always done it in the past, and they'll do it in the future. We're taking a look at some games this weekend, and we'll be watching it closely, high school football, but we need to find out exactly which ones are regular season games. But Carroll High Ozark, I know Coach McDonald and his team hit the field tomorrow night against Montgomery. Not tomorrow night, but on Friday against Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee. That's at Tuskegee. So Carroll be off to a good start there. Fairhope is at Wetumpka. Foley is at Prattville. These are just some games in our area that I was looking at. Trinity is at American Christian. And a game on Thursday should be a good one from Crampton Bowl is Jeff Davis against G.W. Carver. So that should be a good game. That game's going to be played at Alabama State University. So I know they're excited about that. In the Alabama Independent Schools, you've got Autauga Academy at North Florida Christian. I don't know if that's a regular season game or not. Evangel Christian playing at Chambers. Fort Dale of Greenville playing at Lee Scott of Auburn Opelika. Hooper is playing at Macon East. These are regular season games. Lowndes Academy at Sparta. Monroe Academy at South Choctaw. Morgan Academy of Selma playing at Edgewood. And Pike Liberal Arts, the Patriots, play at Crenshaw Christian against Coach Grant, former Pike County coach, one of the top coaches in the history of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, is double dipping, ladies and gentlemen. And what a football coach he is. And Crenshaw Christian will line up this Friday night in Luverne against Pike Liberal with Coach Grant as the head coach. Other games on Saturday, you've got Lanier playing Westlake, Georgia at 1 p.m. That one's in Crampton Bowl. And Central of Phoenix City playing at Lakewood in Atlanta. So they're playing, I don't know if that's considered a regular season game or not. We'll find out later. But several teams are off. It's not the actual start of high school football, even though there will be a few games, but most of the regular High School Athletic Association games will be played on next weekend, August the 31st. So we'll watch that closely. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hi, I was just calling back.
Mike Amos calling back, Mike, and I was trying to. It's hard to distinguish which one of these games are regular season. I would think all of the Alabama Independent Schools games will be games that are regular season, but just a few.
Yeah, I think they start this week.
Yeah, and just a few of the schools in our area will be playing tomorrow in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Of course, the Pike County Charles Henderson game, it's a jamboree, but they treat it just like a regular season game. The rules are the same as a regular season game, and they'll be packed out. That'll be a huge crowd.
The only problem with that is, if you treat it like a jamboree, Charles Henderson wants to play a lot of players. Pike County doesn't have enough players to play a lot of extra players. I mean, all their guys, their 22 or 23 guys are all probably starters. Yeah, you're right. They'll all play a lot, and that's good for chemistry things. If you've got a team, everybody plays. That's good for the attitude of the team, total team. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one of those type of things where I would imagine that they want to experiment and try some guys maybe at different positions. Charles Henderson does. And then, last year there were so many people at the game that it took almost a complete half to get them all in the stadium. Can you believe that? I hope the preseason, they'll find a way to move those people along and get them in the stadium. No question about it. Of course, Alabama and Auburn have got big weekends ahead. Auburn, Mike, they say, is looking for a running back. Tell us about that situation at Auburn. I mean, I thought Cam Martin and Asa Martin, the kid out of Decatur, were going to be their running backs. But tell us about Asa Martin. I mean, both of them last names is Martin. Yeah, he was one of the top running backs in the state out of Decatur. Then Cam Martin's the guy that so he's a pure freshman. Is that right? A pure freshman. Yeah, he started school in January. Well, that's something. And Auburn's gonna be really good. It's just a matter of offensive line plays their big question mark. They lost a lot of offensive linemen, and then they got pretty good wide receivers. Running back,
offensive line is really the biggest difference. And then, in the secondary, I guess they've got to fill some spots. But, the front seven is probably going to be the best in the country.
Yeah, no question. And
so, Auburn ought to be just physically dominant against Washington and several players on the field. I would imagine, Washington will have 3 or 4 guys that could probably play in the SEC, but not too many more.
Well, I don't know. They're pretty good.
They're ranked 6th in the country, but, it's one of those type of things where, Auburn's going to have a lot more 4-star, 5-stars than Washington will have out on the field.
Well,
I guess it comes down to that heart when it's all said and done.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, Auburn's defense should be very strong. When they talk about their defense and say it was better than last year's, that's saying a lot.
Kevin Steele, I talked to him not too long ago at an event down in Auburn. He's a really nice guy. He's really an approachable guy. He came over to our booth when we were set up, and he talked to us for probably about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Telling a storyteller. That guy's got some stories. He's been everywhere.
I bet, no question. The first team AP All-American team's out. This is considered what most people think is the top All-American team out there. Will Greer, the guy that used to be the quarterback at Florida, is at West Virginia, and he's the #1 quarterback in the country. Mike, what happened to him at Florida? Why didn't he stay at Florida?
He got suspended for steroid use.
Oh, did he? Steroids?
When McElwain was there, yeah. So he got suspended by the NCAA.
Don't tell us where Florida, don't tell us where Florida might be today. The coach might.
So many games into the next season, too.
You know what? The coach might have saved his job if he hadn't got kicked off,
Yeah, but he's projected to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country. A lot of people think West Virginia's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the 2 running backs, Bryce on this All-American team, Bryce Love of Stanford and Jonathan Taylor of Wisconsin are your 2 running backs on that team.
Yeah, Love ran for 2,000 yards at Stanford last year, and Taylor's a big physical running back.
Stanford should have a real good team. They got the quarterback coming back too.
Yeah, Wisconsin was undefeated when they got beat by Ohio State in the championship game.
Of course, the tackles are Jonah Williams of Alabama and Mitch Hyde of Clemson. The guards are Bo Brindenall out of Wisconsin and Nate Herbig out of Stanford. The center, Mike, this is a shocker. The center out of Alabama, Ross Pishenbacher. Yeah. The senior out of Alabama made the first team.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy considering he's been a guard his whole career until this season.
And this is the AP All-American team, and that's something.
He's a really good player.
The tight end is Noah Fant of the junior out of Iowa. The receivers are A.J. Brown Jr. out of Ole Miss. David Seals, senior out of West Virginia. The all-purpose player is Miles Gaskin, the senior out of Washington. And the kicker is Matt Gay, the senior out of Utah. So that's your offensive All-American team. And ladies and gentlemen, this is, wouldn't you say the AP would be the strongest All-American team out there? As far as the legitimacy, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I would.
And looking at defensively, the ends are Nick Bosa of Ohio State. He's just a junior. And
his brother's Joey Bosa. That was a great player.
Yeah, Selin Farrell, a junior out of Clemson. Look at this, how many Clemson players. The tackles are Ed Oliver, the junior out of Houston, and Christian Wilkins, the senior out of Clemson. The linebackers are Devin White out of LSU, Devin Bush out of Michigan, T.J. Edwards out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin got a lot of guys on this list, Mike. The cornerbacks are Greedy Williams, the sophomore out of LSU. That's the 2 on defense from LSU. And Deandra Baker, the senior from Georgia. The safeties are Jaquan Johnson, the senior out of Miami, and Taylor Ramp, the junior out of Washington. And the punter is Mitch Winowski, the senior out of Utah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard that Alabama's defense doesn't have anybody on the first team. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, I thought.
You think Davis, the great defense tackle, would be on there.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on hold, Mike. I'm going to put you on hold and bring you right back. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike, it's Max. How are you this morning?
Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. Max, hold on 1 minute, and I'm going to bring you in here. Okay. Okay, we should have both of you on, Max and Mike. Is that right?
I'm here.
Mike, you on? Hello. Well, we don't have him, but Mike Amos was on the other line. He'll probably call in a few moments. Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. A busy Max Howell. Max, but Max, you get up at 5 o'clock every morning anyway, don't you?
Oh, I do, but I'm going to tell you, it's on the other side, Mike. I used to go to bed around 10 or 10:30.
Yeah.
It's after midnight.
Oh, yeah.
Still get up at 5.
Yeah.
Get longer.
I got you. Well, what's going on? I know you're putting together that radio station, and ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear the format. Now, we won't be able to pick that over here, unless we do it on the
Yeah, we'll be streaming live.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything we do, Mike, and I mean, it'll be video. We'll have video camera. We got 4 cameras in the studio. I mean, it's pretty high end. In fact, my partner actually runs 2 radio stations over in the Delta, over at Winona.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He could control the board and everything else from Winona while I sit in the studio here.
Oh, that is great.
It's this high tech stuff, Mike. It's run past you and I.
Well, I know it, and Troy Cable, Steve here, Troy Cable, he's starting to run everything live. One thing about live television, it's live on Facebook too. Did you know that?
Yes, I did, and we'll be doing the same thing. We'll have a Facebook account. We'll have streaming off our website. We'll have Twitter accounts. I just hired a full-time social media guy yesterday. How about this, Mike? I didn't know. This young guy is finishing at Ole Miss at Christmas this time. He's got a degree in broadcast journalism, and the state of Mississippi gives you a certification in social media. Where you have to be proficient in all the areas. We put him on board just the afternoon.
Isn't that amazing?
See, that's what is all that, Mike?
I don't know. I don't know. They know it around here, but I'd be the last to know it. I just sit here. But
I don't even know what buttons to push, Mike. At least you're sitting right there.
Now you're going to have what? How many hours are you going to have? 2 hours?
I'll have 2 hours. I'll have 12 to 2 every day, just preceding the Paul Feinbaum show.
All right,
we'll have that. And the 2 hours prior to my show, 10 to 12, Matt White, which is the voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs on radio, will have a 2-hour show. Then I'm bringing in another guy he's one of the better known promoters in this market. He does sports. He does community service. He does a lot of community work in all of Central Mississippi. He'll have a morning show from 8 to 10, and then our early morning drive time will be 2 high school football coaches.
Okay, great.
That'll be on from 6 to 8 every morning.
They'll probably end up saying, Max, will you fill in for me this morning?
You're right. You already got it plugged, buddy.
Well, and you'll do a good job. Everybody wants to hear what you've got to say this time of year, and I just went over the AP All-American team, and this guy Will Greer is the top quarterback in the country. How good would Florida have been if he hadn't got in trouble? And I imagine the old coach would have been able to keep his job, don't you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the wheels were starting to come off, Mike, and probably Will Greer was he was a byproduct of some of that. Not much discipline. The program had just kind of deteriorated after Urban Meyer left.
Yeah.
Urban brought in a lot of questionable guys. I'm not giving him a pass on this. But the guy that, the staff that came in behind him, just kind of let those kids run wild. They didn't even require him for a weightlifting program.
Oh, no.
It was awful. Yeah, it was awful.
Oh,
man. They won what they won was mainly after Muschamp because they had good talent there.
Yeah.
But they just, I don't know, that deteriorated. Now, they got a whole different attitude about down there now with Dan Mullen. And, you know, but then I go back to answer your question. If Will Greer stayed there and Mullen came in, oh, they'd be competing for the national championship. They beat Georgia. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. And you're right. And it could have saved the coach's job. The guy, the kid cost the coach's job.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a.
But I mean, what I'm saying, they probably would have won a lot more games last year. You know.
Yeah, they would have. But I'm not giving it a pass on the coaching staff, but they did not discipline those kids, and they didn't make them go.
Oh yeah, I got
do
you.
anything. I mean, he caused his own demise. The way he handled the program. But take that away from Will Greer. I mean, we've seen him what he can do before, and he's in a good place at West Virginia where he can throw the ball all around, and they want to do that. And he'll get a big contract in the NFL when the season's over.
Well, of course, you've looked at it, and we're still more than a week away. Saturday week, everybody be kicked off, and Jacksonville State and North Carolina A&T, that Johnny Williams is putting them on Saturday night, first game, getting a lot of exposure for a 1AA team.
No doubt about that. I think that he's done a great job with that. And I think early in the season, the emphasis need to be there, Mike. Those guys need as much, exposure as they can get.
Yeah, no question.
Of course, if Jacksonville will go ahead and bite the bullet and move to Division I, and we've talked about that before. North Alabama's done it. Jacksonville is the last, I think, carrot that could be.
Well, North Alabama's Division 1AA, and so is Jacksonville. They're 1AA.
But North Alabama just supplied. They're going to Division I.
How are they gonna do it without getting into a conference? They'll have to do that, won't they?
Well, when you're in that 2-year transition period, you don't have to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, once they get there, and I've read that they've already made applications.
Yeah. I just didn't think of that easy, but evidently it is if they can do it. They held out for a long time. Jacksonville's been 1AA in all of the other, or 1A in all the other sports. And then, I know one of the reasons why North Alabama held back was because they were hosting that championship game every year,
Exactly right, in Division II.
And that had a lot to do with
it.
it.
They won it like 3 years in a row.
Exactly right.
Wallace was there.
That's right, no question about it. And
yeah, that was the reason. But I'll say this, that they won't have any trouble going to a conference because the conference play is all about TV money.
Oh, yeah.
And playoff money. And every one of those schools are needing that.
But it's got to be a Division 1A conference, though.
No, it's true. The Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Qualify.
That's
Ohio
right.
Valley will qualify.
Yeah. Ohio Valley's not 1A. They're not 1A. Now Jacksonville has won that league championship. Last 5-6 years.
Whatever that other that it was a spinoff. It was a spinoff from an Ohio Valley group. 5 years ago, though.
Yeah.
They call themselves All-American.
Yeah, something like that. You're right.
And that's I think that's a small D1.
Any way you can get in there, I think it would enhance their program. And, I've always said that North Alabama should have done it way before anybody else because of their population. There's over 100,000 people live within 25 miles of the campus. You look at Troy, we're not near as populated as they are.
Very true, Mike. And of course, Troy, I think, said that, they said, and I read all your posts this week about the numbers and all, and you're absolutely right. I guess
the only town that is smaller than Troy, that's 1A, Division 1A, is Army, where Army's located in New York, West Point. Yeah, West Point. I reckon I should have gone ahead and said West Point, New York. That's where it is. But again, it's just a tribute to Troy. When they saw the opportunity, they jumped all over it and was able to do it. Troy, with a population of 20,000, like I just said, is the only smaller town is West Point, New York.
Well, they've done a remarkable job promoting it, and of course, I have to believe that part of that reasoning to go was all the number of branches and affiliates that Troy has all over the world.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sure it had a lot to do with it.
I think think it had something to do with that public exception to that, acceptance of that, that that they would be well received, and then the money was generated.
Yeah, and we had to hold out 4 years too before they let us in. So we set out 4 years as an independent. You remember our basketball team and some of those schools were playing teams out of New York.
I remember. Yeah, I do.
It was unreal.
But you got to give Larry Blake the credit. I mean, he saw the vision there. He pushed for it. You had some board of trustee members that were pushing, and you had some, as you well know, you had some that was a little hesitant to make the move.
Oh yeah, you're right. No question about it.
They were afraid of the money and what it took. And Mike, I don't think you never had this part of the discussion. It was never about the football program, though. It was about funding all the other sports.
That's right.
See, that's where the rub comes. Is how do you go fund the golf team, the men's and women's team, and the swim team, and whatever other 18 sports that you got to provide at Division I. Costs a lot of money to run.
Oh yeah, no question. Of course, they were able to do that as you're able to go in as a 1AA member and play Division 1A teams and everything, but football. Of course, the big thing is football. Getting in as a Division 1A team in football, and I'm sure that's what Jacksonville and Florence want to do eventually. And gosh, I know Jacksonville folks have been wanting to do it a long time. I would think they'd go before Florence.
Yeah, I would have too. But look where they're located.
Yeah, you're
they're
right.
halfway between Birmingham and Atlanta.
You're right. A heavily populated area.
And the talent level in that area is, it's more than adequate.
Yeah, no question.
I think Neil Brown and him have to enlarge their recruiting area from Troy more so than Jacksonville would.
Yeah, no question.
Players out of Birmingham and in the market.
Troy is really recruiting that area, and of course, when it gets down to it, Max, and you know this as well as anybody, a kid when he's asked whether or not he wants to play Division 1A or Division 1AA, they'll take Division 1A every time. They want to play big time football where there's 85 scholarships.
Exactly right. That's the fact, and they want to play in front of a larger stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
Full, and then they got a chance to play on TV.
Exactly.
On a regular basis.
No question about it.
So,
and that's why ESPN's doing it, for Jacksonville, to start the season is because they're 1AA and they can start early, and that's a great opportunity.
True. Very true.
Max Howell is our guest, and of course, the network's going to be called what, Max?
Well, what we're doing is ESPN Mississippi is our station. And we'll be tied. Of course, we'll do the ESPN overnight, all the overnight stuff. But I have a very, very lucrative contract, Mike. I don't have to play the 15 hours a week of the ESPN daytime program.
Yeah.
I got Paul Feinbaum, and that's 20 hours by itself.
Yeah.
So we're doing all local programming from 6 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then at night, on Thursday nights, I have a junior college program. On Friday night, I have a local high school. On Saturday, I have the SEC game of the week. And Sunday, I have the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh boy!
It's
now, and of course, you just hook on to the NFL radio and your NFL college game of the week. Is that right?
Yeah,
the college game of the week, NCAA.
We do Westwood 1.
Yeah, that's great.
Give us the game of the week, and then again, we just directly hooked up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Remember Dak Prescott with Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So that's an easy sell for us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're 50 miles from Starkville.
No question about it. That's gonna go. That's gonna go big. I think you're gonna have fun with it. And I know you're gonna do well with it. Like you said, it's gonna take a lot of work at first, and but that's quality radio right there.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Mike. When the dust settles, we're going to have the strongest on-air lineup in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, no question.
And nobody else is going to have that kind of programming from 24/7.
Yeah. Well, and another thing too, you don't get Paul Feinbaum and for nothing. I mean, you've got to have sponsors that are willing to pay for it. Is that right?
It costs us $1,000 a month to put him on.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
See, and then to get ESPN's another $1,000. To put our antenna on top of the tower that we use, and that's another $1,400.
Oh boy!
So I can just go down the list. We got about 200,000 sunk into it already, Mike.
And of course, you've got some major sponsors. Hopefully, you got people out there selling it. Is that right?
Yeah. Listen, I was out. I went to dinner with some last night. You're right. It was. It's like coaching right now. We're trying to get our team ready for kickoff.
Yeah.
And we go on there. Our first game is Friday night with our high school game. And then we'll take whatever ESPN runs on Saturday because, college football didn't pick up really until September 1st.
Is my buddy Abner White going to advertise with you?
I can't find Abner.
Abner White, of course, his mama is one of the sweet, beautiful ladies in this part of the country. Mag, you know, and of course she is Wiley White. She was Wiley Brantley, Dr. Brantley's daughter, and of course that's her grandson. Abner owns Abner's Chicken. I reckon he's got stores, about 8 or 10 stores, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, all the way from Memphis to the coast.
Yeah.
And, now he used to advertise with me when I was on the network show, but I can't find him right now.
And he played at Ole Miss, so I'm sure you'll be covering Ole Miss too, won't you?
Oh yeah. So we're right in the middle, Mike, between Oxford and Starkville. We're 50 miles each way.
Yeah.
And we're in a perfect market for it. There's 86,000 people in this county, and our demographics on the counties we reach is about 300,000.
Oh, that is great.
And there's no sports talk full time but us.
Now you'll cover Hattiesburg too, probably, won't you?
Nah, we'll have call-ins. See, the Sentinel won't go that far.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
But we'll do. See, the guy that does my scoreboard show on Friday nights, play baseball at Southern Miss. He all the home games, Mike. He leaves when he gets through off the air at midnight on Saturdays. He drives all the way to Hattiesburg to the home games.
Oh boy, that's something.
That's about a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gives call-ins on Saturday, for our pregame show and all that. So we got good contacts in Hattiesburg as well.
No question about it. Of course, we've got a lot of Friday night football, but not every public school will be playing this Friday night. Is that the way it is in Mississippi? How does that work?
Now, Mike, here's something that's unusual over here. How many regular season games do the regular how many, Charles?
10. They play 10.
You know how many they play over here?
How many?
They play 12 regular season plus a jamboree.
Gosh, how about the playoffs? What are they going to do there?
That's 16 games.
Oh, man, that is way too much. That's 12 plus a jamboree?
Absolutely.
That means they started back the 1st of August then, didn't they?
They started about the 14th, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. I was, when I learned that yesterday.
Golly.
And he gave me the schedule.
Yeah,
it's like, and here's something else. Rarely do any of the teams have a bye week. They play straight through, all the way through.
You know something that gives a high school kid in Mississippi, but also the college programs. You've got all those junior college programs that play football. There's none in Alabama that's a junior college that plays football.
That's true.
But do the junior college pretty much have to recruit players from Mississippi, or can they go outside?
Here's what each school. When I first got involved with the junior college, Mike, each junior college had 10 out-of-state scholarships. Now they have 8.
Yeah.
Now they did at one time they were restricted to a 5-county area to recruit high school.
Yeah.
It's now statewide.
Yeah.
Remember this, Mike. There's 14 junior colleges that play football in the state.
What I'm saying, a kid in Mississippi's got a good shot of playing college football, don't they?
Absolutely. If the guy's got any talent at all, and even his academics, that's one of the reasons majority of them go to junior. If they're great athletes, they go there to get their academics in line.
And something else, then you don't ever hear about them much in basketball. Do they play basketball and baseball too?
Oh yeah. They play. The baseball is big time, and I'll tell you why. See, the rules say now in baseball, if you sign in baseball with a 3-year student, it's just like football. I mean, with a 4-year student, it's just like baseball. You got to wait 3 years to go to. If you go to junior college, you come out your first year.
That's right. And a lot of those pros send them to there just for a little training, don't they? Well, I tell you, it's a great thing for the state of Mississippi to have that kind of junior college program. And we have junior colleges here in state in Alabama, but it costs money. A helmet costs you $600 or $700, sometimes even $1,000. Can you believe that? A helmet.
We sat last night and talked about Mississippi. Mississippi's got 2.9 million people. Well, that's half of what Alabama's got.
Yeah.
And that's half of what Atlanta, Georgia's got.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Let me tell you the schools. They got 14 junior colleges. They got 3 Division I A schools, and they got 5 1AA schools that all play football in the state.
Isn't that amazing?
Just think about this, Mike. What if they only had 2 schools in the state? They'd be competing for national championship every year.
Oh yeah.
Talent would be, consolidated in 2 schools.
No question about it.
But they did this all about politics, and every community wanted they wanted their school to do that, and that's the way it came along, and that's the way it is today.
And now let me ask this: when can colleges start recruiting those junior college teams? I know they play on a Thursday night. Can they go? Can they start going and recruiting?
They can start. Basically, here's what. Remember, a lot of those kids are placed there.
Yeah.
By other schools. But now here's the rule: that once you place one in a junior college, you lose his free agency concept. In other words, now the guy does not have to go back where he was signed with. He can go anyway. He can be re-recruited by anybody in the country. They can actually start the first year. The rules are basically the same. They can watch him play during the season. They can't contact him, I think, but once or twice during the fall. But they can sign him. Here's a little tweak in the rule. If they're academically eligible and just sent there because they had too many on the roster or whatever, they can come out after 1 semester. Now, if they're academically, if their transcript doesn't meet the academic requirements, they have to stay 2 years.
Yeah.
So see that.
Now the college that places them there, they can't pay for it though, can they?
No. They got the individual schools have their own scholarship program.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they don't.
But what I'm saying that they can't, like LSU can't give money to a kid to pay for a junior college. Yeah, at least above board. Is that right?
That's right. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. But it really does enhance high school football over there when you got so many opportunities to play.
Let me tell you how the rules have changed. When I came out of high school, every junior college in Mississippi had a 11th and 12th grade on campus, and if you were good enough, you could play. If you were an on-campus student, you could play junior college football in the 11th and 12th grade.
Oh boy!
And then play. All right, now listen to this. Jimmy Taylor, the great Jimmy Taylor.
Yeah, played at Green Bay.
Leggett, the big lineman that went to LSU.
Yeah.
This is documented. They both from Jackson. They will sit out of Louisiana to Jackson, Mississippi, to Hines Junior College. Both of them played 2 years in high school and 2 years in junior college. Then signed by LSU.
Played 4.
Guess what year they went in at LSU? They went in as a freshman.
Oh, me. I knew that now, and of course you had to pay for it pretty much, but, Bobby Bowden did the same thing when he was at that little school in Georgia. He got the job at Howard College, and they said he took those kids from that junior college, and they played 4 years at Howard.
But see, in those days, the rules were so loose that, they hardly had any way to track eligibility. Look, I can tell you, even at Troy, when we first went to Troy, all you had to do was change the jersey number.
Oh yeah, no telling what y'all did. Cause there was a new face on campus every day, and you could tell they weren't like us guys that were already on the program. Those guys had already gone through a college weight program, and they didn't even look the same. I was embarrassed to walk down the street with them. But
you know what? I got in that same conversation with the guys last night. When we came there, and you and I have talked about this so many times.
Yeah.
Bill Clemson and Mel Lucas and Rudy Argent and that bunch, they taught us how to coach. They didn't winning wasn't mentioned. I mean, we did all the technique, and all the guys that came out of that program to get a degree. You know how many coaches that came out?
That's right. Oh, it was unbelievable.
Right. Then when Billy came, when Doc Adams hired Billy Atkins, It all changed. It was all about winning.
Oh, yeah.
Then.
No question.
Consequently, we went to get kids. We tried to stay within the rules, but we went and got kids to transfer to Troy so that they could play right away. And, we got a chance to win a championship because of
But
that.
the big difference also, you were hired to teach first, coach second. But that wasn't the way it always went, was it?
Now, guess what it is now? Win. At the big high school level, where they're paying $100,000 or more for coaches, it's all about winning.
No question
But
about
they
it.
don't teach classes. Those top guys don't.
I know it, no question about it. And it's quite a difference, but it's a lot of fun. Max Howell is our guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to leave us in just a few moments to finish up. You're going to actually go on the air when?
No, we start our own air programming, Mike, Labor Day, September 3rd.
I got you.
What we're doing now is wrapping up all the engineers in town. They're tying all the wires to the boards and getting the antenna set and all that stuff. The rest we open up on Friday night just for the high school game.
Yeah.
That's kind of our test run. And then we'll go on Saturday with just our network programming for the ESPN. And next week we tweak all of that. We'll have a couple of guys in. We may do 30 minutes of on-air stuff, just trying to be sure that the volume's right. We got the right guys on the board. We're in the right commercials and all that. Then the next weekend, next week, Thursday night, we do the junior college game, Friday night high school football. Then we hit the airways with our pregame show on Saturday. And then I believe we'll open up with Alabama and Louisville.
Now, of course, you've got salesmen out there that are selling the rights to all of these games. Is that right?
That's right. We got 3 guys on the street right now. Well, 2 and a lady. You got one lady that's been in sales for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you a little different too, Mike. We're covering all the small towns outside Tupelo.
Yeah, I got you. Sure.
Albany, Pontotoc, Fulton, the little town Corinth.
That's
all
right.
The towns outside. We trying to wrap that up, and then this next week when we hit the airways after Monday night, we're going to Tupelo. And concentrate on the Tupelo market.
Now your talk show will air what time?
12 noon to 2 o'clock.
Do you have a telephone number yet?
No, we're getting that today.
When you do, we want you to give it out so we can give it out over here, because a lot of folks would like to call in.
We'd love to do that, Mike. We appreciate that, and we'll give you how to get in on our website to see the streaming part. We got a button on there for streaming. We'll have a button on our website for updated weather. It's really the most sophisticated thing I've ever been associated with. And I had everything to do with that.
Max, I know you're on Wimp's show and you're on a lot of different other shows, and I'm sure you're going to continue to do that. But right now, give me a sleeper. Who do you think is going to be a sleeper? A team that might could possibly win the South Alabama Conference. I mean, not the South, SEC, North and the South.
Yeah. Well, I really.
Or East and the West.
I think the program that everybody was looking at and it got hit yesterday pretty hard is Texas A&M. We don't know what Jimbo Fisher. We don't know how severe those comments were that the kid that went to Arizona made. They're going through a full investigation about how he handled the program, and they were paying the player. And I read the whole accusation, Mike, about A&M last night. And I've dealt with those. That was a disgruntled kid. Didn't get to play. He transferred and went with Kevin Sumlin to Arizona. And now threw a lot of accusations out there. There's all negative publicity for that program. If he's, unless there's more to it than we know already, I'll say that A&M's got a good chance. Jimbo Fisher is a good football coach.
You think he can win right away?
Yeah, I think he can win right away, but I don't think he can win the East. Nobody's going to beat Alabama. I can say that right now. There ain't nobody in the West going to beat them.
Yeah.
They don't have the talent, and they don't have the coaching staff that Alabama's got. The other side of that is the team that's going to, I think, play better than most people think is going to be Arkansas. If you look at that schedule, everybody's got them at 6-6, and maybe get the bowl game and all, and got them at the bottom of the West. But I think Chad Morris comes in there. I stay in constant contact with 2 or 3 writers over there, and he's doing some things right now that's going to gain a lot of attention. And his schedule matches up. So with every big game he plays, that team has just come off of a huge game the week before. So
But
he
you-
could not have lined up better. And I think think he's got a chance to win 7 or 8 ball games.
Well, he should win his first 3. I don't know for sure if he'll beat Colorado State because he plays that. But he's got Eastern Illinois at Colorado State, then North Texas at home. Then he has to play at Auburn. That'll be his first test. But now here it is. He's got Auburn, Texas A&M, Alabama, Ole Miss, then Tulsa, then Vanderbilt, and then LSU in a row. So
They had lost Ole Miss in about 4 or 5 years, even with Bielema.
yeah.
They get out for whatever reason Ole Miss can't play it. They can't get to the playoff. It's over.
Well, you know, we've always saying this about a lot of schools, and a lot of people say, well, Alabama's got all the money, got the best players money can buy, or best program money can buy. Well, it's proven fact that Texas A&M does have the most money of any other college program in the country.
No doubt about it. Mike, just remember this. And I picked up this from some writer late last night. If Jimbo Fisher is found guilty of all this stuff that they're throwing at him today, do you know that there's no clauses in his contract? If they fire him today, he walks away with $75 million.
Oh gosh! Oh gosh!
That's right.
Surely he didn't cheat like this. You know, I hope not.
I mean, some of the stuff is just you can read through it as sour grapes. It's not nearly as bad as it sounds when they throw it out there. But I read the accusations in detail last night. You know, and it's like 2 or 3 things, which is perfectly illegal. If you can have kids on campus, you can have your kids. What you do is that you give your kids $100 to take them out to eat, but they're on campus. They came on campus on their own.
Yeah.
You didn't entice them to come.
Yeah.
You just entertain them once they're there.
All right, Max. See if you agree or disagree here. I think Florida is going to be the biggest surprise this year because they've got a great football coach. I mean, he's proven himself everywhere, and you know they got athletes.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Mike. I think that the biggest surprise that I'm watching that program, because I know that he's putting all the publicity. He's going to start Felipe Franks or Cass or one of those guys. The best quarterback's at number 3, Zimmer Jones.
Yeah.
But he's a freshman. He's a kid. But let me tell you something. You saw Lamar Jackson play when he was at Louisville.
Oh yeah.
This kid's just as good as Lamar Jackson.
See, and he's got a coach that's got a great offensive mind.
Absolutely.
And all you got to do is look at the quarterbacks he's produced the last few years. You know, they're all big-time pro players. And look out for Florida. And, hey, money's no object for them either, is it? As far as building a program.
They got 50,000 students on campus, Mike.
No question about it.
University of Florida.
Yeah.
So, they got a huge support staff. They are the state university in the state of Florida. You're right. They can move that. And they gave Dan Mullen $36 million to go down there over 6 years.
And Mullen is, like you said, is a proven offensive coach that can. All you got to do is look at Florida when he was there under Urban Meyer, how they sort of went down after he left.
Very true. Very true. So I think that the step back from the national picture now, I think watching what's going to happen at Ohio State, it looks like Urban Meyer's going to get a suspension for 3 or 4 games or whatever. How does that affect their play on the field? And I think it does. Does that put Wisconsin? Does that move Wisconsin up in the top 4? Some people already have them up. So I think it's still going to be Alabama and Clemson. And a lot of people's putting Washington. That puts a lot of pressure on Auburn.
Yeah. All right. Then point blank. Who do you like in that game?
Well, to me, it's a toss-up, and here's the reason.
I mean, now everybody thinks because of the fans, but the fans can't play. They can fill the stadium, but they can't play, can they?
Mike, the last 2 times Auburn went to that stadium, they got beat, and they had the most fans there.
Yeah, last time Central Florida beat them, didn't they?
Right, absolutely right. See?
Yeah.
So now the other side of that, Washington's got to come all across the country, but they're going to play in a controlled environment. I said before, if they played in Auburn at Jordan Hare in August, Auburn would win by 3 touchdowns because those kids couldn't stand the heat. But they don't. They play in a controlled, in a 72-degree atmosphere.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, Troy's a different story. Let me tell you, these guys coming in from Montana, they've never seen heat like this now.
You're right, and I think the 5 o'clock kickoff is perfect.
Yeah. And Troy practices at 5 every day now. And when you call next week, I'm going to give you a prediction that I really feel good about. So I look forward to you calling next week.
I'll do it, Mike. Always my pleasure. Enjoy talking with you.
Hey, and good luck on your I hope by then you're ready to go.
I think so. If I don't, I'll be stretched out somewhere, Mike.
All right. Well, you're a good man, and we look forward to it. Thank you so much for calling our show.
I'll do it, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're on Today in L.A. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing? Hello. Well, thought I hit the right button, but I didn't. Of course, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
And stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate all of our sponsors, our good friends at Bill Jackson Chevrolet. And, of course, Mike, they've got Chevrolet, they've got Cadillac, they've got Buick, and they got GMC, all of the General Motors products under one roof at Bill Jackson Chevrolet on the bypass right here.
I'll go ahead and make this announcement right now that I kind of slipped up the last couple of years. I had, a little stuff going on with having a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old, and I didn't really do my best performance as far as picking last year. I let Jim beat me, but that won't happen this year. I'm going to study up and know these teams a little bit better, and I plan on winning it all this year again.
All right, and our actual show will start not this weekend, but next weekend, or next Thursday for the Bill Jackson Chevrolet's Picks of the Week, brought to you by Bill Jackson Chevrolet on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course,
one thing good about having Bill on the show, he goes to every single Alabama game, so
yeah.
he has a lot of credibility.
Well, how about this also, I would like to mention that on Fridays every week, we're going to have the Pike County Ford's Picks of the Week. And that's going to be a lot of fun, too. So we'll be talking.
So will we have somebody from Pike County Ford come in, or we?
Yeah, hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. And, hey, he's a guru, too, Mike. He's a good one. And, of course, he'll be coming up.
Interesting. I was thinking the other day, of course, we all hope Richard McBride will be able to play some for Auburn this year. And, of course, he's been there. He's a redshirt junior at Auburn. Of course, one of the best linebackers I think I've ever seen at Charles Henderson, and they hadn't been able to really scratch the lineup at Auburn other than special teams. I'd be interested to see how Richard's doing. If anybody out there can call in and give a report on Richard McBride, I hope he gets to play some this year.
They were looking for a guy to run the Wildcat I tell you what, he could run that Wildcat in high school, couldn't he? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Boy, he was
a guy that didn't even play running back until basically his senior year. They started using him.
People couldn't tackle him, and the surprising thing, at 230 pounds, nobody could catch him. He would fly, he could fly. You know, so
6'1", 232 pounds.
Yeah, and a very
redshirt junior.
Outstanding young man too, no question about it. Some of the high school games, Mike, to take a look at, and of course we're not going to be picking them this week because most of them are not don't start until next week. But one of them is Carroll at Booker T. Washington. They'll get started in a hurry. Ashford at Rehoboth. That's the team that Charles Simpson will be playing. And a huge one.
Coach Littleson's down at Ashford. He used to be at Sanford. I mean, not at Sanford, but at Sampson. So that's his first year coaching at Ashford. And best of luck to him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, a huge game, Mike. At Arrington, they played Dale County. Of course, Dale County is loaded. They got a bunch of those Hendersons still on their team down there. And then, of course, Headland is at Strawn. New Brockton is at Providence. Kenny Keith's team, Mike. Hopefully it'll be better. And Geneva County at Sampson. So those are some games I would think would be regular season. What do you think?
I would think so. It's Geneva County against Sampson. I guess that's a pretty big rivalry game.
No question about it. Should be a real good. They were located about 10 miles apart, I think, something like that. They should be a rival. Of course, I want to mention Crenshaw Christian plays at home against Pike County. Mike, I would love to get Wayne Grant on my show maybe one day this week.
They don't play against Pike County. They play against Pike Liberal.
Yeah, what am I saying? Pike Liberal. And, of course, Wayne Grant.
I'm sure Coach Grant wouldn't schedule Pike County. I think he's a little bit smarter than that.
Well, I tell you what, he's an outstanding coach, and he'll make those players think they're somebody, and that's what's so important.
He's inherited a team that was one game away from the state championship last year, so there ought to be some pretty good players left.
No question about it, and let me tell you, if he got players, look out, no question. Some other games of interest, Early County, Georgia is now. Charles Simpson played these guys in the spring and pretty much beat them up pretty good. But the Early County is playing at Eufaula, and of course that's Coach Rigby's first game. I wouldn't mind seeing Rigby coaching a Eufaula team that's got so much talent.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting for Eufaula fans to have a coach like Coach Rigby, and I mean it's going to take him a little while for those guys to buy in and believe in what he's teaching, but I don't think it'll take too long for you'll see Eufaula probably contending for state championships.
Yeah. Right across the field from Eufaula High School is Lakeside School, and they'll be playing also on Friday. They'll be playing Glenwood. So that's a big.
I'd be interested to know, like if the kid gets beat out at Eufaula High School, says, "Daddy,
he can just run across the field and say, 'Look, Coach, can I join your team?' And the guy from Lakeside said, 'Sure, sure.'"
He says, "We'll just take you to Lakeside tomorrow, and you'll play."
That's right. They're located right across. I tell you something I mentioned yesterday that you and I didn't talk about much, but Houston Academy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, coached by Jamie Riggs.
It's coached by Jamie Riggs, one of the top coaches of all time in the Alabama High School Athletics Association. He coached mostly at T.R. Miller of Bruton, and he at one time had more wins than anybody in high school history, but that's been surpassed since then. But he had put together a staff that you'll be surprised. Of course, this is Houston Academy, who's lost 17 straight games, I think, Mike. And their defensive coordinator is Mark Edge, who was a head coach at Daleville from 1988 to 99. Assistant coach Eddie Brundage led Jackson 5 years.
So that's Eddie Brundage that played at Troy?
And I don't know if that's him or not, but that Eddie Brundage was from Dozier. You remember him?
Yeah, he's a great player.
Jack Wyndham directed OP from 2006 to 13. He's on their staff. Philip Mitchell got at Wicksburg in 2004, and junior varsity coach Kevin Jackson led Dothan 16 and 17. So not only are they getting Jamie Riggs, they're getting some.
That's Kevin Jackson, who was the All-American safety at Alabama.
That's right, exactly right. So
that's crazy. That's his staff.
Yeah. Now see, this is a private school.
I guess you're dealing with money. You got plenty of money there to pay him.
No question about it. And Jamie Riggs is.
I heard they're paying Riggs over $100,000 a year.
I wouldn't doubt it. And of course, Riggs is an outstanding coach and has proven himself everywhere he's been. Riggs actually, Mike, before he coached at T.R. Miller, he coached at Sampson. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. You know, he was coaching, volunteering at Leeds High School. His son, Michael Riggs, was offense coordinator there the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
he just got
exactly.
a job up in North Alabama at a school. I can't remember the name of it, but he was just a volunteer assistant at Leeds. And I was thought to myself, man, this guy's won more high school football games than almost anybody in the state.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want that guy helping me out. I'd be worried to death if I was a head coach.
Now the guy that had it for such a long time, of course, you know,
Keith Etheridge was at Leeds, and he's at T.R. Miller now.
Coach Daniels, you know, had that record for a long time at Luverne, and then your buddy up at
Walden Tucker.
Walden Tucker up at what's the name of that little town up there? Fayette, and I don't know if he still owns it or not, but then of course Jamie Riggs held that record for a long time. 4 other coaches.
My wife's first cousin was Sam Collins. He was a star football player at Fayette. Went on to be a good player at Alabama, wide receiver. That's my wife's first cousin. So we see all the Fayette folks all the time down at the beach.
Well, they win a lot of football games. I know that. I would think if you looked at Fayette, it's got to be one of the winningest football programs in Alabama. Of course, you look at down here in.
Well, it's a great little town. You ever been up there?
Yeah, well, in fact, I have over the years. I've been up there. Yeah, there's a junior college up there. I want to say.
It's near Carrollton, and where the courthouse, where the guy's face is in the window.
Yeah, I got you. and that's near Aliceville, and they have good teams too. But Mike, if you looked at some of the winningest programs in Alabama, Fayette would have to be one. And our bunch down here in Ozark has got to be one too. I'm gonna put you on hold, and I'm gonna go to this line real quick. Good morning. You on today in L.A.? How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Bernie Sullivan. How you doing?
Bernie Sullivan. Gosh, Bernie, good to hear from you, my friend. And of course, hey, we call your town Title Town, Mayor.
Well, I know that, but let me go a little step further. You was speaking about Eddie Brundage. You know, I coached when I was head down at Dozier.
Yeah, well, you know, I mentioned that he was from Dozier.
And then he went on to Troy and made a name there. As I was told, he was probably one of the most vicious linebackers that played at Troy at the time. That Tim Bryan from Brantley and all of them were about the same time. But
let me tell you this: he also was a running.
With Jamie Riggs down at TR, and then left and went to Jackson, and now back with him at Houston Academy.
Well, I'll tell you something else about him. Against Jacksonville State one night, he gained 235 yards. As a fullback, you know, he was a fullback after the great one from Elba, you know, Horsted.
Horsted, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You could see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
When Eddie was ready to play, I know we were playing Laverne. When he was ready to play, he was almost like he was crying. His eyes would get his eyeballs would get completely red.
Well, and we're talking about at that time, Dozier was the smallest high school in the state of Alabama. Isn't that right?
That's exactly right. We graduated 11 people, but yet we made the playoff 2 years in a row. We lost to McKenzie, who became the state champion that year, and lost the first year I was there to Laverne.
And then you had one player, Lynn Johnson, became a starting tackle at Auburn, didn't you?
Yeah, and on the all nation, all 100-year, whatever it was called, you know. Lynn, but Lynn didn't play for me. I was coaching at Brantley at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and of course, you know, we call it Title Town, and let me tell you this. I want to say something. You know, of course, we had a heartbreaking loss recently.
with your little softball player, and she was such a lovely lady. But you also lost another guy who I thought was hung the moon. I mean, of course, he officiated for a long time, and was a good football player at Brantley High School. And we lost him a few weeks ago.
Michael.
Who?
Gene Michael Campbell.
Yeah, Gene Michael Campbell. I never knew his name was Michael, but Gene Campbell, of course, lived here in this town, and of course he fought diabetes like a lot of us are doing. And of course we lost him. I saw his beautiful wife in the post office yesterday, and I told her how we were praying for him. But he was a outstanding athlete to come out of Brantley, didn't you think?
Yes, I was a head coach then at Brantley.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Roland Jones Sr. he and I were the only two coaches here at Brantley at the time.
Yeah.
Gene Michael, let me tell you a real quick story there. Gene Michael, we were playing Laverne, and Bird Wiggum, you know Bird
Oh,
Wiggum?
I know Bird Wiggum well, that coached at Troy.
Bird Wiggum was recruiting Gene Michael for Georgia. Well, Gene Michael, he ran sort of a boot around outside.
Was he a quarterback?
Defensive back from Laverne caught him, and Bird Wiggum walked out the gate and said his ankles are too big.
Well, I tell you what, now, I'm going to throw out a little history. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Brantley, and, of course, before it was Titletown, it was still really good. Of course, Jim Tompkins was a great one that came out of Brantley, and, of course, one of the great coaches of linebackers in the SEC history, and he and I coached together. He was pretty good, too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, and he went on to Mississippi, of course, at Troy and Mississippi State, and his brother, Charles Tompkins, is a physician here in Crenshaw County.
And his daddy had the best restaurant, boy, I mean the best soul food restaurant I think I've ever eaten at. You remember that coconut pie? Do you remember that coconut pie?
Yeah, I have it every Sunday.
Do you really? They still have that good food?
Yes, they sure do. You
Oh,
have to come
man.
over here and we'll have lunch one day.
Well, I will, and then the next week we'll drive down to Brantley. Down to Dozier. They got a good restaurant down there, don't they?
That's right. Amazing Grace.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. There's a friend of mine that every afternoon sits in the same seat up in Montgomery, and he went on out of high school and played for Bear Bryant. Do you know that gentleman's name?
Let's see.
He played at Alabama, and he and Coach Bryant didn't get along. But
oh shoot! And he works for Duckers now. Skinny Dempsey.
Benny Dempsey. The great Benny Dempsey. Now, people, let me tell you, he was a great player.
He was. Of course, Coach Bryant made him climb the fence now.
Oh, yeah, I know it. And, well, you know what? He did the same thing to Carl Hobson. You remember Carl Hobson was everything at Lee that, in his career, and he stayed up there just a little ways. Hey, Wallace Hogan, the great one out of Troy. Exactly. They didn't stay but a day or two. I mean, just think of all those great players that Bear Bryant ran off. but hey.
He can take his and beat yours.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you another secret about Brantley. At one time, they had one of the finest young coaches. Now, he got out of the coaching, but Mike Sasser, Bear Bryant said if Mike Sasser had not tore up his knee, he might have been a Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama.
No doubt about it. And Mike's had up until I don't know how it is now. Mike was the only player that played at Alabama that never called for a fair catch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. and see, I used to work with fair catch Johnny Mosley.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, the late Johnny Mosley now, but hey, from Thomaston, Alabama. You remember that? Thomasville, Thomas.
Indeed, and
not Thomasville, but Thomaston.
Jerry Walker, Miss Bobby Walker's Bobby Mosley was his sister.
Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna throw out something else. They can talk about all these folks with Titletown and all these great players that have come through here, but nobody could outrun this Battles kid back when you were growing up. Is that right?
That's right. Lamar Battles.
How fast was Lamar Battles? I know he ran 10 flat back when nobody ran that fast.
He or the Morgan kid kid that went to Auburn. Neither one of them could be timed because you never knew how fast they could run.
But wouldn't you say that Battles was probably one of the fastest guys ever come through there?
That's exactly right. He sure was. That was in 1965, 66.
Yeah. And I remember it so well, and of course a lot of good ones. Now let me ask this: Did your buddy down there at the bank in Dozier was he an athlete?
Willie, yes, he was, and so was his brother, Willie Smith.
Willie Smith, the great Willie Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, everybody wonders.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah. Oh, really? You better talk nice about it. But let me ask you this, Bernie. Of course, we're talking to Bernie Sullivan, the mayor of Prattville, and we're having a lot of fun.
Don't get me mixed up with Prattville.
Oh, gosh, the mayor of Brantley, what am I doing? Hey, Goat Hollis is going to shoot me. Now, Goat Hollis down at the bank now was a pretty hard-nosed guy, wasn't he?
He was, and in fact, we were talking about that yesterday, about how did it look this year, you know, Alabama and all that. Goat and I were talking about it. He said that he thinks that, of course, Tua, but they may allow Jalen to redshirt a year, and then they have 2 years left. How about that?
Oh, gosh. Well, I tell you, that's going to be crazy.
If he doesn't play 4 games.
Yeah, no question about it.
So,
but you know what? Wouldn't you love to know if you were Shula? Don't you know that Saban would love to know he had Jalen Hurts on the bench if something happened to Tua, you know?
Hey, goes without saying, huh?
No question about it. Of course.
Listen, Mike, I tune into you mornings, and then when you mentioned Eddie and so forth, I had to chime in.
Yeah, well, I tell you right now, you're exactly right.
Eddie is the same one from Dozier. He is, and he's a dang gone good one.
All right, now let me ask you this before you go off.
Okay.
Of course they used to call Brantley front porch, the front porch city, because they had so many front porches and everybody'd sit out in the swing in the afternoon. It's a beautiful, lovely town. But then they started winning all these state championships, so they started calling them Title Town. But let me see if I can get the rest of the story. Now the kids that went to Dozier are going to Brantley to school. Is that right?
That's correct. Some went.
So now you know the rest of the story. Is that right?
That's the rest of the story.
Before you go off, I haven't talked to you since the young lady we lost, the sweet young lady from Alex. Somebody told me there was just overwhelming crowd at both her visitation and her funeral. They said it was nothing could compare with it.
It was several, up to probably close to 1,000 that, of course, came to the night before. I stood on the hill at the cemetery and watched them come in, and it was from Brantley to Dozier. She was buried in Dozier Cemetery there, and and the reason being, of course, there's some connection there to Dozier, but I stood on the hill there, as you know where the cemetery is. You come into Dozier, and there was cars lined up from Dozier almost back.
Isn't that amazing?
The way to Brantley.
And somebody said there were people standing on the side of the road. They said it was just. They said if you didn't cry, they didn't know what was wrong with you. They said I'm about to cry just talking about it, but it was an unbelievable experience. And now let me tell you this. And a lot of people don't know this. She's buried at the same cemetery that former Alabama athletic director Mal Moore is buried at. Isn't that right?
No, she isn't. No.
All right, man. Mal Moore was buried also, though, in Dozier. Isn't that right?
He's from Dozier, and of course, his cousin, is Moore. That's the field and softball field at Auburn's named for him.
Yeah.
Jane Moore.
I didn't know that.
Jane Moore.
But isn't he buried isn't Mal Moore buried in Dozier?
He's buried at Friendship.
Oh,
was at his funeral.
All right, where's Friendship? Now, where's Friendship?
Yeah, and of course, named Mal Moore Highway, as you know.
That's amazing. Well, a lot of history, and Bernie, I'm glad you called.
Alex, they're having a memorial at Mississippi State the 15th and 16th. At the ball game that night, on Saturday night, they're having a halftime memorial thing.
Isn't that wonderful?
And that next morning, on Sunday morning, at 10 o'clock, another memorial for, so forth for Alex. And
I know you'll be there. Well, I tell you what, Bernie, as always, you and I go way back. Yeah, Bernie, you were one of those guys that got caught playing bridge too much. Isn't that right when you were at Troy?
Yeah, right.
Didn't you learn how to play bridge?
I did.
Hey, it cost a lot of grades, didn't it?
It sure did.
Hey, but you'll also remember that scrambled egg sandwich too, won't you?
Oh my goodness.
For $1.
Quit telling secrets, boy.
Hey, what did it cost? 25 cents?
That's about it.
Well,
in the whatever it's called.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The student union.
They can make them, couldn't they?
Listen, come to Troy, and we'll get on the golf course, and I'll show you Troy like you've never seen it. Troy University. It's unbelievable.
I know it. It's a lot different than back when me and Jerry Beck and Joe Jaskowitz.
No question about it, my friend.
Oh my God.
Come to Troy, and I'd love to show you around.
See ya.
See you. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our show. You can watch us again today at 1:30 right here on Troy Cable Channel 2. We appreciate you watching. I hope you'll be with us tomorrow for another great show on Today in LA. Thank you for watching.